Welcome Star Wars fans. Today we're going to transform a couple of pumpkins into BB8 from Star Wars. Keep an eye out for my pro tips throughout the video and watch to the very end if you want your BB8 to be just extra super duper realistic looking. Okay, let's do it. So if you're a terrible painter like I am, just awful, then the last thing you want to do is freehand everything. In step one, we're going to position and tape these 6 orange rings to the big pumpkin. We're going to position them on the left and right, front and back, top and bottom. After all your rings are in place, go ahead and tape them down. Actually, you know what? I'm actually going to cut out the orange rings from the designs to make the next step easier, because this is just a mess right now. Okay guys, step 2 is tracing. We're gonna trace the designs all over onto the pumpkin. Now, do you see this thing? This is called a pounce wheel. It came with my carving kit, and it's actually the worst. Don't use this, it's terrible. Instead, use one of these. This is an X-Acto knife. You gotta be super careful. This is literally a knife, very sharp, but it's much easier to hold, and it's gonna make everything, all the tracing, much quicker. Now that we traced everything, step 3 is carving. Now my carving kit also came with this like shaving razor type thing and a couple of interchangeable blades, a triangle and a square. We're gonna use a square blade to carve out all of these orange sections here. So guys, I don't know if you could see this, but after carving away the bulk of the ring, I went back with the X-Acto knife and kind of touched up these inner wheel design things. That's gonna help a lot with the next step. Step 4, this is where we take out everything from inside the pumpkin. I'm gonna use a dedicated pumpkin scooper for this because last year I used my hands and I wanted to die. So, scooper. Step 5, we're going to take it outdoors to a well-ventilated area because now we're going to paint. This is the quickest and easiest step. All you have to do is take your can of white spray paint and just go to town. Wait about 20 minutes for the spray paint to dry, and then cover it in Mod Podge. This is gonna seal the paint so it doesn't flake off when we do more carving and painting later. After your pumpkin is done drying, we're gonna move on to step 6, where we are gonna continue carving. Only this time we're gonna carve these orange rings much deeper than we did before, enough to be able to see some light coming through the inside. Just carve a little bit at a time, take a flashlight, stick it in the pumpkin and see if you see any light coming through. If you do, great. If not, then just carve a little bit deeper and keep repeating that until you get it just right. Okay, so once you're done carving, the walls of the pumpkin are gonna be super weak. We just took a lot of material out. Literally over the course of the next few days, the pumpkin is just gonna go, it's just gonna deflate. We have to help it. Take a chopstick, take a few chopsticks, or in my case, some wooden dowels, and we're just gonna stick it in the pumpkin, stand it up, and have it act as like a support pillar for the walls of the pumpkin. You know, buildings. Now it's time to take your small pumpkin, chop it in half, scoop out all of the goop, and paint it white. Here we go. 3, 2, whew. that was easy. Check the inside. Yep, we're good on the inside. We're good. Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna paint a silver strip along the bottom edge. But first, I'm going to use one of those head designs to trace BB8's hat, I guess you can call it. For the eyes, get some clear plastic ornaments and cut them to an appropriate size. Then carve some holes large enough to fit them, making sure the big eye is centered between the silver stripe on the bottom and the halo that we traced on top. There are 2 other spots we need to carve. You can see them here in orange. But because these areas are so much smaller and further away from the light source, hardly any light will show. Therefore, we need to cut all the way through this time. So at this point, I think I'm just gonna finish up the painting. The silver headband here, and then all of these inner wheel designs. We're gonna do that. So these last few things are optional, but you'll notice that BB8 also has some thin lines and a few nuts and bolts holding his body together, which you can quickly carve in with a knife. Also, if you want to give BB8 some character, and I highly recommend this step because it just changes the entire look of BB8, then grab a sponge and gently dab small amounts of brown paint all over the edges. It makes a huge difference. Boom! You did it! You rebel scum, you! All that's left is to put a light in it, show it off to the world, show it off on Instagram. Tag me so I can see how you guys do. I'm sure you'll do amazing, much better than me. I kind of botched the paint job here, but that's okay because at night, none of it matters. Speaking of which, it's nighttime now, so this would be a good time for a test. Let's do it. Okay, here we go in 3, 2, 1. Whoa, pow! Oh, I like that. I was getting really worried because I legit didn't even test this before I cleaned up all my stuff. Put away all my paints and sculpting utensils. Got a nice clean table here. I love this so much. Look at those big, clear eyes. Yeah, so I think that turned out pretty well. Also guys, this is a brand new YouTube channel. This was the very first video. So if you want more Star Wars in your life, then definitely subscribe to this channel. Do it now, get in early. That way later on when this becomes like the most popular Star Wars channel on YouTube, you could be like, Star Wars IRL? Yeah, I liked Star Wars IRL before it was even cool. Because you know how you've always wanted to say that? Seriously guys, I really hope you like this video. Comment below or DM me if you have any questions. Have a fantastic Halloween. I actually haven't made any plans yet, but I did get my costume today. I'm super excited. Actually, DL-44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world. No, different movie. I'm gonna be Han Solo for Halloween. This is his blaster. Yeah, shout out to Etsy. This is like super realistic looking. I mean, it even feels real. It's like heavy. That's real. Yeah. Have a great Halloween, guys. Be safe. May the Force be with you. Woo!